So we are a body that actually plays a big role in regulation of medical practice, not only in Uganda, but worldwide. And in all those fora, Uganda is a valued partner. Now, coming home, you have all heard about the case of Kabanda and the news that have been flying around, that it was alleged that his kidney was removed without his permission, or he didn't know about it, and so is now one kidney less as a result of that intervention. So what we did, and the way that the council functions, is that we receive a complaint. And when we receive a complaint, then we institute an inquiry to find out what was happening. So we received a complaint, a written complaint, saying that we should investigate this case of Kabanda. And we did. And we shortly be sharing with you our findings. I'd like to thank Mr. Kabanda for making it possible for us to talk to him, to examine him, and to share the findings with the population. Yesterday we had the meeting where Mr. Kabanda came in with his lawyers. We had surgeons who are being accused. They also came in with their lawyers. We had Old Kampala Hospital. They also came in with the administrator and their lawyers. And yes, so that is the team that we had yesterday. To help us in that investigation, we brought in a team of experts to look at the documents that were available. That is the medical record, the x-rays, and to examine Mr. Kabanda to see what that scar that he has is talking about. So we called them in yesterday. I briefed them about the exercise, and we divided ourselves to undertake that assignment. One group, which is led by experienced surgeons, took Mr. Kabanda aside and, with his permission, examined him from head to toe, but paying more attention at the scar site. Then we had two radiologists, experienced radiologists, to look at the documents that we had, that is the ultrasound and the CT scan, to establish what might have happened in Kabanda's abdomen with regard to his kidney. The team then did their work, and they came back and shared their findings with the rest of the people that were there. So Mr. Kabanda was there with his relatives and his lawyers, and the doctors were there also with their lawyers, and Old Kampala was also there with their lawyers. So this was the composition of the people who were there, and the information was shared in a very transparent manner. All the explanations were made, all the questions that needed to be asked were asked, and at the end of it all, I made a summary of what we found and conveyed this to the rest of the team, and conveyed it to Mr. Kabanda himself, and asked the very important question: are you satisfied with our findings? And he said, yes. Report regarding the alleged kidney harvest from Mr. Kabanda Mohamud. I say this is a summary because a detailed report will be available later. The Uganda Medical and Dental Practitioners Council is a government agency established by an act of parliament. Among its mandates is to protect the public from unsafe practices of medical and dental practitioners. This is the body where all complaints against the practitioners and their health facilities are presented and handled. In the matter of the missing kidney of Mr. Kabanda Mohamud, the matter of the missing kidney belonging to Mr. Kabanda Mohamud following a surgical operation at Old Kampala Hospital was reported to Council in writing. Following the procedures laid down by the council, the Old Kampala Hospital was asked to give an explanation. This included giving the identified doctors who operated on the case. The neurosurgeons who carried out the operation was asked to make their own response. The council later learned that Mr. Kabanda had undergone several radiological examinations from several health facilities. The following documents were therefore secured by the council: an explanation letter from Old Kampala Hospital, an explanation letter from the doctor who operated on Mr. Kabanda, the file containing the medical records of Mr. Kabanda from Old Kampala Hospital, the ultrasound scan from Malcolm Medical Center, the CD of the CT scans from Zambia Hospital, Mengo Hospital, Kampala Imaging Center. Now, these were the documents that we felt were necessary for this exercise. We sought opinion from the radiologists whether we needed any further CT scan, and they said no. It is not fair to continue exposing Kabanda to more radiation. So the document that we had was sufficient for the exercise. So the council lined up senior specialists to do the following: one, radiologist to review the radiographs, and two, the surgeons, who included a general surgeon, a urologist, and a neurosurgeon for guidance. So what were the findings? From the surgeon's view, one, the specialists examined the site of and the size of the incision. Their findings were that indeed there was a scar in the anterior abdominal wall, but this was far from the anatomical location of the kidney. The kidney lie at the back, closer to the back. So what they were saying is that this scar that they were seeing, which does exist, is far removed from the site of where the kidney usually resides. So according to the site and size, it would have been very difficult for anybody to harvest the kidney through the site, as one would have to go through several layers of muscles to reach the kidney. There are several layers of muscles, in fact 3 layers of muscle in the abdominal wall, which one would have to go through if you are going to reach the kidney, which is at the back. Those of you who are doing training and so on, trying to reduce the size of your tummy, you can see that there are those muscles available. Further examination, they found that according to the mobility of the lower limbs, it was clear that the internal structures were not tampered with, and that the incision did not go beyond the skin and the underlying soft tissues. In fact, they suggested that the incision went 1 centimeter below the skin. The neurosurgeon's view, the specialist confirmed that it was in order and a routine procedure to secure fat from the anterior abdominal wall to fill in the defect occasioned by the fracture. Mr. Kabanda had a fracture on his forehead, which was depressed, and if they just mended it, he would end up with a depression on his forehead, and he wouldn't look very handsome. So what they did was to get that fat to fill up that depression and make him look what he is today. The radiologist, the specialist, demonstrated that there was only one kidney, the right kidney, which is something that normally occurs in about 1 in 750 persons. They found that this right kidney was big. The right kidney has 2 renal arteries supplying it. Each kidney, there are 2 of them, usually get a supply of blood from the aorta through the renal artery. So there is a branch that comes out from the renal artery, from the aorta, that is the renal artery, going to supply each of the kidneys.
I'm going to explain that one later.
Yeah, when they ask. So they found that there was indeed, the kidney had its renal supply, but he had got 2 arteries. And this is an anomaly that is not uncommon in most people. I bet one of you who is sitting down here might be having 2 renal arteries to the right kidney. The main artery did not have any branch going to the left side. There was no evidence of any cut on the main aorta. They concluded that it was possible for the left kidney to have fused with the right one during its development, hence the two renal arteries supplying it. Based on the observations of the surgeons and radiologists and the examinations of the medical records, there was no kidney on the left side to be harvested. The council therefore concludes that Mr. Kabanda has only one, or had only one kidney, that is the right kidney. This is an anomaly in our structures, but that is what it is. That Mr. Kabanda had and has only one kidney, that's the right kidney. There was no left kidney to be harvested. Therefore, the council calls for calm and wants all allegations to be set to rest and requests Mr. Kabanda's family and friends to support him psychologically. If you look at Mr. Kabanda, he has been drained quite a lot by all the media reports, all the places that he has gone to, and we pray that let him be given a rest and given the necessary support that he needs to recover from this ordeal. The findings were given to the parties and their lawyers, and a full report shall be availed to them in due course. And this is something that we looked into very carefully. I said we had clinical notes from Old Kampala Hospital, and the first thing that we looked at is consent. And I think I told you that there were two types of consent obtained. One is for his admission, and one for the operation. And the normal practice, and this is what actually happened, is to explain what the operation is going to be like. And if you take a look at the consent form that is routinely used, it explains that in the course of the operation, in case we need to vary the operation to be able to take care of what we are going to do, this permission should be granted. But in this case, all this was explained to Kabanda, and I think it was his sister and brother who consented to his operation. So this was fully explained, and yesterday when we had Kabanda himself, we asked him specifically that, did you understand the operation that was going to be carried out? And he said yes. We also asked the relatives, and they said yes. At the end of the operation, when he woke up, yes, he did find that there was a cut, and the doctor took time to explain it to him and to the attendants what transpired, and they fully understood the explanation of the doctor. And if you notice in our collection of experts, one of them was a neurosurgeon, and we asked him specifically, like, is this a routine procedure where you sometimes have to harvest fat to be able to fill in a defect? And he said yes. So we were fully satisfied that Kabanda had full explanation of what was going to happen. He had full explanation of what happened afterwards, and he had full understanding of the procedure. And the response from the neurosurgeon, another neurosurgeon, not the ones who practiced, is that this is a normal procedure.